Hey guys and girls, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with another video, this one focusing on Assassin's Creed Origins, which is set for release on the 27th of October. Now, as many of you know, I'm a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed series. I have played all of the games right from the very first Assassin's Creed up to the more recent Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And I, like everyone else, felt that AC had sort of had its time and that the franchise had become stagnated, that it was lacking in innovation and that it really needed a break. So when Ubisoft decided to take a year out, to take a break before releasing another game, I thought this was a perfect decision on Ubisoft's part. And undoubtedly, AC Origins has a lot of pressure on it, and people are looking to AC Origins to see if this is the game that can save the Assassin's Creed franchise. So having watched all of the videos and checked out all of the information and news at E3 and also at Gamescom, I have to say that I am feeling pretty optimistic and fairly certain that I think Origins will in fact save the AC franchise, and this is why I think so. Firstly, let's talk about the setting. I think the decision to set Assassin's Creed Origins in ancient Egypt is a fantastic decision. Fans of the series have been asking for a game set in ancient Egypt for a long time. Progressively, with every single Assassin's Creed game that we have had, we've been moving closer and closer and closer to modern day. So in the first AC game, this was set in the Crusades in medieval Europe. We then had Ezio's story set during the Italian Renaissance. We had Connor's story set during the American Revolution. Then the Elizabethan times, the Caribbean with pirates and Black Flag. Of course, we have Assassin's Creed Unity, which is set during the French Revolution. And finally, the most recent one, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, set during Victorian England. So progressively, the Assassin's Creed games have been getting closer and closer and closer to modern day. And I was really thinking, where are they going to go? There's going to be some point, once guns are developed, where Assassin's Creed just doesn't work the way that it has done previously. So the decision for the developers to go back and actually tell a prequel story, to go back to ancient Egypt and tell about the origins of the Assassin's Brotherhood, is a very, very clever decision for them to make. And from there, there's a lot that they can cover. They can continue on through different time periods, maybe ancient Greece, who knows, but it looks really, really interesting. I love the setting of ancient Egypt. I'm a huge fan of Egyptian history. The world, the vast open world, looks amazing to explore, from the sort of expansive sort of sand dunes and iconic pyramids to big bustling cities like Memphis that we have seen at Gamescom. Ash Ismail has confirmed that the game is huge in scope, and I think he said it's about the same size as the Assassin's Creed Black Flag Ocean, and about 4 times bigger, I think I read, than Havana. I don't know if that's completely accurate, but that I vaguely remember reading somewhere that the game was about 4 times bigger. We've seen a lot of open world expanse. You can fully explore this entire world on foot, on horseback, on camel. There's swimming. The world's got verticality to it. You can swim underwater. You can go into tombs. You can climb up buildings. It looks fantastic. So I think the setting of ancient Egypt looks brilliant, and the game looks visually stunning, and I'm really looking forward to exploring it. The story is also crucially important. I think one of the biggest problems after Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood is that the storylines just weren't as strong. They weren't written as well. They felt very sort of disjointed, and they didn't flow as well as they could have done. And maybe that's because every single game, it was like the assassin of the year, so to speak. Like they were trying to create some kind of calendar for fans. So I'm hoping, you know, with this game, it might be the beginning of a trilogy. I would really like to see that. But the story sounds very interesting. This game is set in 49 BC, which is during during the ascension of Cleopatra to the throne. Her father, Ptolemy XII, has died and left the throne to both his children, so Cleopatra and her younger brother, Ptolemy XII. Egypt at this time is in the middle of a civil war, and Cleopatra is the exiled queen, so her younger brother, with the support or manipulation of an ancient secret society known as the Order of the Ancients, with their sort of masks. Perhaps this is the early incarnation of the Templars. He pushes Cleopatra out, and the game is basically about her getting back control of that throne and making alliances with some pretty famous people, including Julius Caesar, the legendary tactician. In this, you play as Bayek, one of the last magi, tasked with maintaining peace and order and ensuring that the old ways are honored and that people are respecting tradition and religion. And so at this time, Egypt is modernizing, and you're kind of like a dying breed. Now, what I will say I like about Bayek at the moment is that he is an older assassin. He's in his 30s, and actually he is married, from what we found out at Gamescom, to somebody called Aya, who's not a magi, but you basically grew up together as children, and she's from Alexandra, whereas Bayek is from Siwa. So it'll be interesting to see that sort of man and wife dynamic. Now, we are sort of given hints that they have very different views about how to approach certain things, and that this conflict might ultimately lead to the birth of the Brotherhood. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really interesting concept. We've never had an assassin before that's married, that has that tie and that connection, and it might make Bayek seem a little bit more human, a little bit more three-dimensional, and I'm really hoping that he will be a very interesting main protagonist. The only two main protagonists that I found interesting probably were Ezio Auditore, which is who is my favorite assassin, and Edward Kenway in Black Flag, who I also loved. I also really liked Evie Fry as well in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So I am hoping that Bayek will be a likable character and that we'll be able to identify with him and his story. I think that is really key for this game to do well. Let's also talk about the gameplay and the innovations with the gameplay. So we now have no minimap. I'm loving this. The UI is really clear and clean. It's sort of borrowing from things like Skyrim, where you have like a navigation bar to give you hints on where things are in the world. The world is completely interactable. It looks like it's alive, you know, it's full of life. There's a day-night cycle. It's full of animals that can attack you or that you can hunt for resources. You could travel around it freely on horseback, on camel, on foot, whatever you choose to do. It just gives me vibes of things like The Witcher 3 and Horizon Zero Dawn, and you know what, there is nothing wrong with that. So, you know, if Assassin's Creed Origins does borrow ideas from The Witcher 3, that's a good thing in my book, and it looks great. Now, the combat has been completely revamped as well, and I have to say I really like what they've done with the combat. It definitely has vibes of things like Dark Souls. They've replaced the sort of counter prompts that we used to have in original Assassin's Creed games, where you'd sort of just wait for the opponent to attack you, counter, and then ultimately you do a really cool animation where you would ultimately finish them off and kill them. Now we are using a hitbox system where it's a lot freer, it's a lot smoother. You can sort of duck and feint, you can block attacks, you can parry attacks, you can there are different types of weapons. I think there are like 8 different classes of melee weapons, and all the weapons look really different. Now, I haven't got my hands on with the game, and I'd love to play the game before release, but they look great. And from what I've heard people saying about the weapons feel very different. They feel weighty, they feel heavy, the combat feels meaty, and you know, it's exactly what I think the series needs, the way you need to feel like you're challenged and that you actually feel like you have a say and an impact, that the combat is based on skill rather than just your ability to sort of hit certain buttons and time the counters and time the buttons. So I think that's a really, really good thing. Tomb tombs as well. That looks great. We've only seen some small tombs at the moment, so I'm really hoping we'll see some bigger tombs, kind of like Tomb Raider style. But I have to say, Assassin's Creed Origins, guys, looks absolutely fantastic, and I've got really high expectations of it. This is the team that brought us Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and they did a brilliant job with that game, and they really introduced some interesting new ideas and concepts with sort of pirates and naval combat and those sorts of things. So, you know, all these new things that they're introducing, a new combat system, RPG elements, leveling, different classes of weapons, weapon levels, customization, modding, all these things are very new to Assassin's Creed Origins, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they impact on Assassin's Creed Origins. If this is going to feel like an Assassin's Creed game, is it going to feel like an Assassin's Creed game, or is it going to feel like a copycat of The Witcher 3? I suppose it remains to be seen, but at the moment the game looks great and I'm really looking forward to playing it. Now, I am going to be playing both Shadow of War and also Assassin's Creed Origins. You guys have actually voted for the game that you'd like me to play, and at the moment it's kind of 50-50. So Shadow of War at the moment is just about beating Assassin's Creed Origins. It has 2 more votes more than AC Origins. So I will do a Let's Play for Shadow of War first, but once I finish that Let's Play, I will absolutely be picking up playing and probably doing a full playthrough of Assassin's Creed Origins if it is as good as I hope it will be. I really do hope it will be as good as it can, and I'm hoping that Assassin's Creed Origins will breathe some life back into the franchise and will give it sort of the oomph that it needs, the shot of life that it needs desperately. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of Assassin's Creed Origins so far in the comment section below. What do you think of all the footage and gameplay that you've seen? Do you think Assassin's Creed Origins will be able to save the AC franchise? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you're hoping for with the game and what you would be looking for with the game as well. Anyway, hope you guys having a great week. Take care, and as always, happy gaming. Hey guys and girls, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a great week. So I'm back today with another video, this one focusing on Assassin's Creed Origins, which is set for release on the 27th of October. Now, as many of you know, I'm a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed series. I have played all of the games right from the very first Assassin's Creed up to the more recent Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And I, like everyone, that I think Origins will in fact save the AC franchise, and this is why I think so. Firstly, let's talk about the setting. I think the decision to set Assassin's Creed Origins in ancient Egypt is a fantastic decision. Fans of the series have been asking for a game set in ancient Egypt for a long time. Progressively, Origins has a lot of pressure on it, and people are looking to AC Origins to see if this is the game that can save the Assassin's Creed franchise. So having watched all of the videos and checked out all of the information and news at E3 and also at Gamescom, I have to say that I am feeling pretty optimistic and fairly certain with every single Assassin's Creed game that we have had, we've been moving closer and closer and closer to modern day. So in the first AC game, this was set in the Crusades in medieval Europe. We then had Ezio's story set during the Italian Renaissance. We had Connor's story set during the American Revolution. Then the Elizabethan times of the Caribbean with pirates. Else felt that AC had sort of had its time and that the franchise had become stagnated, that it was lacking in innovation and that it really needed a break. So when Ubisoft decided to take a year out, to take a break before releasing another game, I thought this was a perfect decision on Ubisoft's part, and undoubtedly AC